Okay, let's take a quick look at accounts receivable, and in this example we're going to spend a significant amount of time just talking about details. Details sometimes gets overlooked as an important module within analytics because the summary can do so many cool things with grouping based on all kinds of different criteria. But here is actually a way of building up an accounts receivable listing that has some additional value beyond what you would normally expect in an accounts receivable module. And the accounts receivable module in Spire is quite good. This just kind of adds on to that. So what I've done here is I've went ahead and loaded up the data. I've got a small amount of data here to demonstrate a couple of examples. But I'm going to switch my layout, and I'll switch over to accounts receivable. And that layout I've called AR Review Discount and Currency, and I'll kind of explain why that's important in a second. So the first thing you'll see when you load in that layout is that there's some color indicators. The first color indicator are these data bars, basically, which are a way of quickly drawing your attention to higher value items. So it divides up based on percentage value overall relative to all the items that are displayed in accounts receivable, and that helps kind of draw your eye to higher value or important items. For example, this item that's out in January is an important item because of its value relative to the overall accounts receivable. We've also got highlights. These highlights are in here for me to indicate that there's a discount available, and that discount is available based on some calculations that I'll kind of explain. Let's go in and look at those quickly. We can see in the conditional formatting we can manage those rules, and you'll see the data bar is controlled based on some defaults. I didn't actually create this one. This was one of the defaults I just picked, and it's basically telling me, showing me minimums and maximums in terms of percentage value, and how to view those, how to gradiate them, and what bar directions things go in. You can do some very clever things with this, but really it serves its purpose in just indicating these are high value items. And the second one is based on a formula, and that's what's putting in these green bars that apply to the row. And if I look at that one, that formula is basically saying, tell me visually when balance less eligible discount, meaning the AR balance less than available discount, is less than the AR balance. And again, that's just to kind of draw my attention to that particular item, to say, okay, this item has an available discount. Why would I want to do that? Great thing in accounts receivable, and in particular in accounts payable, is the ability to quickly look at these items and say, okay, if I act on these things within the next couple of days, or within whatever the time frame is, I can save, in this case, $56. And those discounts can get high as they build up over larger values. So that kind of draws my attention to that. In the case of accounts receivable, that could be you contacting the customer to let them know, hey, you've got a prompt payment discount. If you take that, if you make your payment earlier, then you'll go ahead and get that advantage. And oftentimes that's the difference between turning over accounts receivable quickly versus slowly, is just contacting your customers and letting them know, hey, you should take this available discount. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's certainly money. So that can be important. We've also calculated here balance less eligible discount, but I've thrown in a calculated field, which is how much is actually saved on a line-by-line basis on those invoices. So to do that, I use the expression editor, and I simply just took a rounded value of AR balance less the eligible discount to tell me exactly how much I'm saving. We've got a transaction number. I've also got currency in here, and this is kind of an interesting one. What I want to do with currency is super important. What I've done here is, for any customer who's in US dollars, I've went ahead and calculated out based on an exchange rate that I'm prescribing what the Canadian value of that US dollar value invoice would be. Now again, the accounting system does that for you automatically. The difference here is that I am actually overriding that. In other words, this is kind of a yet to be achieved currency gain or loss. So what I did here was I took the AR balance for US customers and I converted it to Canadian, but based on an expression that I've provided. So in this expression, I'm basically saying if the currency is US dollars, then I want to go ahead and multiply times 1.26 and round to 2 decimal places. Otherwise, I just want the balance less eligible discount rounded to 2 decimal places, meaning Canadian customers. So that becomes really useful, because now what I can tell is if I'm working at around a rate of about 1.26, that the balance, if, for example, for this customer in US dollars is $3,459, but if I get paid, if I can get the entire balance paid, it's worth $4,358.56, which is, again, a calculation that I've done as a part of a formula, a gain of $900. And again, that's just, again, another expression. If I go in here, I'm saying take the result of that calculated field and use that to subtract the balance less eligible discount. Meaning I'm saying take the converted amount and subtract this. Again, useful. Tells me how much I'm going to make in this particular case in the event that I get paid within that particular period of time. So again, just useful tools that you can use in terms of combining things like conditional formatting to help highlight things, things to help you figure out discounts, and things to help you figure out things like exchange rate values that are changing. So again, very, very useful things that you can do by building on the information that's there with the tools that are available through the details in the summary grid.